You ever have one of those moments where you know something's not right? That instant when every hair on your body stands up, your stomach twists, and some deep, primal instinct is screaming at you. Run. Get out. Don't look back. I had one of those moments one hot summer afternoon in London, Ontario. And honestly, to this day I still don't know exactly what I stumbled into. But I do know this. If I had hesitated for even a few seconds longer, if I had stayed curious instead of terrified, I might not be here right now telling you this story. It started out as just a normal day. The kind of lazy, humid summer day, where the heat just clings to you. I had taken my dog to the park to stretch his legs and get some exercise. There are hiking trails out there that run along the Thames River, and some houses sit right on the edge of the park, tucked behind tall, privacy fences. It's the kind of place where kids usually ride their bikes, where people jog or walk their dogs. Nothing about it feels unsafe, at least, not at first. But that day was scorching. My dog's tongue was hanging out, panting hard, so I decided to lead him down the bank to the river so he could drink. We scrambled down through the grass, slipping a little in the dirt, and ended up behind one of those houses with a big wooden fence. My dog lowered his head and started lapping at the water, tail wagging like he was in heaven. And that's when I heard it. A loud, repetitive banging sound, like someone hammering wood. At first I didn't think anything of it. People build things in their backyards all the time. I pictured some guy working on a shed, hammering away, probably cursing under his breath because the nails weren't going in straight. But then the hammering stopped. Dead silence. And out of that silence came a voice, a man's voice. Low, rough, commanding, and what he said made my entire body go cold. Shut up. Nobody knows you're here. I froze. My heart stopped. My dog even paused drinking and lifted his head, ears perked. I remember every detail of that moment. The air felt heavier. My breath caught in my throat. My legs felt like they weren't part of my body anymore. I couldn't move, couldn't think. All I could do was replay that sentence in my head. Shut up. Nobody knows you're here. And then, as if nothing had happened, the banging started again. Hammering, steady, echoing through the fence. I don't know how long I stood there frozen. But eventually something inside me snapped. That primal instinct I mentioned earlier, it took over. My brain was screaming run. So I grabbed my dog's leash and pulled him up the bank, back toward the park trail. My legs finally worked again, though they felt like jelly under me. And then it got worse. As I reached the top of the bank, I found myself right next to that same house. The fence stretched along the property, but there was a gate at the side. And just as I passed it, the gate swung open. A man stepped out. He was wearing fatigues, military-style clothing that looked worn, faded, like it had seen better days. His face was hard, his jaw tight, and he was pushing a rusty old wheelbarrow. In that moment I thought he was just going to ignore me. Maybe even just go about his business. But he didn't. He saw me. And not just a passing glance. He saw me. He stopped walking, set down the wheelbarrow, and just stared. I tried to play it cool. I kept walking forward, forcing my legs to keep moving, acting like I hadn't just overheard something terrifying, acting like I hadn't just seen him come out of a backyard where something deeply wrong was happening. But my chest was tight, and my dog must have felt it too because he was pulling hard on the leash, eager to get away. That stare, it felt like it burned into me, like he was trying to figure out what I had heard, what I had seen, whether I was a threat to whatever he was hiding. And then, as if to make everything even more surreal, I noticed what was parked out front. 2 vans. The kind of vans that scream kidnapping van in every crime documentary you've ever watched. White, beat up, no windows, just sitting there side by side like props from a nightmare. The man didn't say a word. He just kept staring at me, watching every step I took until I was finally out of the park. I didn't run. I wanted to, but I knew if I did, it would confirm I had seen something I wasn't supposed to. So I forced myself to walk, one step at A time until the fence and the man and the vans were finally out of sight. The second I was far enough away, though, I broke into a jog. By the time I got home, I was shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. But I dialed 911. I told the police everything. About the banging, the voice, the man in fatigues, the wheelbarrow, the vans. They listened, took down the details, and said they'd send someone to check it out. But here's the thing. I never heard anything after that. No follow-up, no arrests in the news, no missing persons tied to that house. Nothing. To this day, I don't know what I stumbled into. Was it exactly what it sounded like? Somebody held captive in that backyard begging for help? Or was it something else entirely? My brain tries to come up with other explanations, but honestly, none of them make sense. And what sticks with me most is that moment. The stare. The way he froze when he saw me. The way the world felt like it had stopped, like there was this unspoken understanding between us, that he knew I knew something, that I wasn't supposed to be there. I don't walk that trail anymore. I don't go near that part of the park. And sometimes, late at night, I lie awake and wonder what would have happened if I'd hesitated just a few seconds longer by the river. What if I'd stayed still, listening, trying to figure it out? What if the man had come out while I was still down by the bank? And most haunting of all, what if someone really was behind that fence, hammering, screaming, begging for help, and nobody ever found them? I'll never know the truth. And maybe that's for the best. But the sound of that voice, those words, nobody knows you're here, will never leave me. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and follow the channel, True Threads, for more real stories brought to life.